Hello and welcome. Here is another video about SMMware, software for handling sales, project management, operations, and more. Today we'll discuss organizations and contacts in SMMware. Okay, let's begin. Here on the home page of SMMware, we're going to jump over to the resources section where we will find the organization manager, which are companies, and the contact manager, which are people who work for those companies. We're going to start in the organization manager. First thing you'll notice here is that the list is categorized. You can expand a given section to see all the entries underneath it. You can modify the list of categories in the settings editor. It's also worth noting that if a given category doesn't have any entries in it, it simply won't appear here under the listing since there's nothing to show. But when you go to create or edit an organization, all the categories will be available to be assigned. Here at the top of the page, we've got a button for opening up all the panels, so you can see all the list. You can instead see an alphabetical listing, and you can export the list. When you do that, by default, you get all of the list. However, you can narrow it down. You can designate certain categories and individual entries, and the results will be whatever you have selected. Typical use for exporting organizations might be for sending out cards at the holiday. There is a reason that we don't just call this the vendor section. There are three kinds of records that you will find here. The first one are the traditional vendors where you do spend money with them. The second type might be people that you recommend even if you don't spend money with them. So your client asks you for somebody and then you give them the details for them. The third kind of record that you'll find here are companies that recommend you send business your way, once again, even if you don't spend money with them. When you look at a listing here, you'll notice that there's a map link. Clicking on that takes you to your phone's mapping function, either Google Map or Apple Map, and they will give you your turn-by-turn GPS directions. If you click on a phone number, that will initiate a phone call, and if you click on a link, that will open up a new tab in your browser to take you to that website. Let's go ahead and take a look at the details for one of these. I'd like to point out here is that you can designate them as a vendor. When you create an expense, you don't want to see every organization in the list. You only want to see the ones that you spend money with, and this is how you narrow down that list. Sometimes you will give an in-person seminar or meet with a marketing director at a given organization, and to make it easy for you to schedule events with them and pull in the addresses, we allow you to mark them as schedulable. And by doing that, we narrow down the list that you have to choose from to only the places that you tend to visit, not the entire list of organizations that you have in the system. There are some companies that have a national headquarters, like say maybe Goodwill, and then local stores. So you can create a record for the national headquarters, and then when you create the local store, you can designate the national headquarters as the parent. Here's where you can select the categories. You can select more than one category. So if there's disagreement about which category something belongs in, the good news is that they can be in both. Moving down the page, we have an opportunity to upload files. We can see any events that were created for this organization, any tasks that were assigned to it, notes that you wrote, or any logged calls. When we create jobs, we can assign organizations to that job, and conversely, when we come to the organization's record, we can see a list of jobs that they have been assigned to. So this gives you a sense of how much business you have sent over to a given vendor. Moving up a little bit, this is where you can create new contacts for this organization or edit an existing contact. Here you can designate someone as referring business to you. That information plus the date of last contact drives other functionality in SMMware. You can also mark them as acting as a client rep, which might be applicable for, say, an attorney. And if someone does act as a client rep, there will also be a listing here of all the clients that they are client rep for. From here, the rest of the video will mostly concern administrators. If we look at an associate profile, jumping down to the permissions section, we'll see that there is a Manage Orgs and Contacts permission that is required in order to work with the organization and contact records. Next, we're going to jump over to the settings editor. Here in section 10 is where we can manage the categories. SMMware will tell you how many records have this category assigned to them under the organizations and then also under the contacts. And you can also add new categories from here. And that concludes our introduction to organizations and contacts in SMMware. To find out more, you can visit our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SMMware, or visit our corporate website at www.smware.com. We appreciate your time and hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.